Horacio Pagani, that guy who was underrated by Lamborghini, who made one of the best automobiles of all history. This guy made a full carbon fiber specs Lamborghini Countach that was almost 1,000 pounds lighter than the original. But this ain't the story of Pagani. I'm going to be talking about one specific important car that was just absolutely sublime. It's called the One quote that Horacio Pagani heard that stayed with him forever was, "Art and discipline must work together hand in hand." After the incredibly amazing Zonda and the R and all the other models that followed, Horacio said that he's gonna make a new car as a replacement for the Zonda, because it had been quite long and the Zonda was not boring or outdated, but it was kind of outdated, you see. They needed to bring a new car. So he got to the drawing board and started designing the new car. This car took about 7 years to be designed and fully made. And you know how long it takes in factory to make one wheel? 5 days. It's called the Pagani. It's the fictional name for a wind guard. Yeah, not a wind guard like something that guards you from the wind. It's a lowercase G-O-D. You know where I'm going with this. This car was sculpted by the wind. In the name of aerodynamics, this is one of the slickest cars ever. And Horacio Pagani took the name downforce and put it on quite an extreme level. We'll get to the aero later, but let's start at the beginning. Horacio Pagani's experience with fiberglass parts making and the experiments he did with that, and then also his experience with carbon fiber, especially that Lamborghini. He was a legend. He was brilliant with carbon fiber. And in the making of the Pagani Huayra, he used a mix of carbon fiber and titanium all over the car. He called it carbitanium. Horacio Pagani had to make the Huayra very light and maneuverable. It must be a playful car, not as much as a Porsche GT4, because he still wanted a power bomb. That was what Pagani was. But he needed handling, so he made the carbitanium art on the Huayra, and it weighed in at 1,350 kilograms. It turned out sweet, light, agile. It was just the business. It wasn't as light as the old Zonda's 1.2 tons, but it was incredible. It was really good. I mean, it wasn't like a Bugatti weighing more than most mountains. But there was one other thing, the engine. That was another big shoe to fit, because those old high revving, amazing V12 engines in the Zondas, 6 liters and the 7 liters, they were awesome. That is the heart of a car. And in the Huayra, Pagani put a new V12 engine with the same displacement as that first Zonda, 6 liters. But this one was twin turbo. It's a torquey engine, makes 1,000 Newton meters of torque, 733 horsepower. That's very torquey. That's American muscle style. Dodge Viper. Yeah, it didn't have the same sound as the Zondas. Some people say it's not as good. It's not a Zonda. It's not a Pagani. But they better shut their commie mouths, because this was the best Pagani ever. The Huayra in its new generation did exactly what the Zonda did, just better. Top speed 383 kilometers per hour. 0 to 60 3 seconds flat. Quarter mile time 10.4 seconds. This car meant business. Then when it comes to handling, the Huayra had independent double wishbone suspension with helical springs with electrically controlled dampening. This gave the Pagani Huayra superb handling. It was just brilliant. And it could also put the power down without spinning the wheels to the whole quarter mile. The word downforce, Horacio took on another level. God of Wind, he named his car the Huayra. Don't ask me what language that is. You can Google it yourself. So this car was very slick, very aerodynamic. But what Horacio Pagani had up his sleeve with downforce was these flaps you see in the front and the rear. Controlled by ECUs monitoring each wheel. When the ECU detects that the one wheel is slipping and losing traction, the flap on that side opens up to provide more downforce so you can get better grip, so you can corner at the fast speed you want to. This car don't have a big ass LMP1 rear wing. It's a road car. The only aerodynamic downforce parts, they're the active ones that move back down so the car looks nice. This car, Horacio Pagani, has almost exactly the same attention to detail as McLaren. The amount of time and effort he put into making this car beautiful. He designed the mirrors from a woman's eye. The interior, just amazing. Original custom design, stitched leather, and take a moment to look at each metal part in this car. The shifters, the central open sequential shifter, the buttons in the center console. This is a work of art. Did you know that each of these metal parts are billeted by one block of titanium? The Huayra logo takes 24 hours to also be billeted from a block of titanium. This was just an incredible car. The Pagani, it was ripping the shoes of the Zonda. Incredible replacement for that old legend. But you see, that couldn't have been the end of it. So what Pagani did was go back to the drawing board and make the best of the best. The Pagani BC. And you see, on this new BC, it was lighter. There were more rigid parts for downforce. It was just way better. There was even more power. This was basically the LT for McLaren. Build a 720S and then build a 765 LT. You build the and then you build the BC of that one. But you see, the BC, it was priced at $3.7 million. With $3.7 million, you can get 10 765 LTs. So why is the price this high? Is it worth it to get this car? I think it is. Twin turboed V12, also an AMG motor, but this one produced 790 horsepower, 1,100 Newton meters of torque. This car weighed 1,218 kilograms. That's just a little heavier than a McLaren F1. But you see, something up the Huayra BC's sleeve in the name of handling was its suspension. In the rear, there was equal length A-arms with inboard mounted electrically controlled dampers. This was the game changer. With also a whole lot of new aero bits, including the rear wing and the splitter and corners in the front, that created a whole lot more downforce. And the weight reduction. This car could pull 1.9 lateral G's cornering. The top speed of the Huayra and the Huayra BC was basically the same, but even though the BC was lighter and more powerful, the engine was tuned for a bit more acceleration. All the performance, just the way the car is designed, gave the best driving experience out of a Pagani. But you see, this performance and weight reduction, it didn't take away from the style of the car. It didn't take away any luxuries. The interior is just better. The Zonda was Richard Hammond's favorite car.
This is my new home. In fact, I would sell my house, buy one of these and live in a tunnel.
And the fact that it stayed with him through the Huayra and on Top Gear road trip, he drove it at the amazing Cathedral of Speed, Monza. This car is special. You gotta give it to him. And I'm just gonna say well done to Pagani. You made an amazing car. I hope you enjoyed today's video of Piston Fury. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss any new videos coming, because I'm gonna talk more about Pagani. Comment down below, tell me what you think about Pagani. Check your piston heads.